Y'all, a new Portal of Peril event just dropped. This one is actually a game changer, so I really wanted to make a video about it. If you're anything like me, you've had little to no interaction with Portal of Peril, but I honestly think this update is going to change that because I'm seeing some things that I'm liking. Now, just in case y'all don't know what Portal of Peril is, it's basically like, I think it's intended anyways, not that it has been, but it's supposed to be a monthly event that Wizard101 does, and they rotate out various gauntlets that you could run. It level scales you. There's a team up feature. Essentially, you could run gauntlets with people like it's a normal sigil without owning the gauntlet to begin with. So we've seen other gauntlets in rotation other than the one that it is right now. We've seen the Fantastic Voyage, Sinbad. Now it's the Great Clock, the Clock Tower Gauntlet. And the way this works is, right, every day you can claim credits to be able to run the gauntlet. If you're a non-member, you can claim 2 credits a day. If you're a member, 4 credits a day. And let's say that I were to run this gauntlet 4 times a day, I can basically progress in this event bar that's tied to this event. Right, I'll get 25 points every time that I defeat the final boss in this gauntlet. I can basically progress and unlock these rewards, which basically give me fortune coins. And this is a super exciting part. These fortune coins, they can be used to redeem all kinds of new stuff. They added a bunch of new recipes in the most recent Portal of Peril update. So instead of farming bosses and level scaling, you know, down in various worlds or opening up a bunch of cantrip chests, what y'all can do now, whether you're a member or not, whether you pay for the game or not, you can run these gauntlets and actually use the coins that you get to redeem the spellments that just got added into the game. So they added recipes for Arc 3 spellments, Arc 4 spellment. Now keep in mind, these the way these recipes work, right? They're actually relatively cheap. You're not able to control which world the spellment is from, but you have a way to control which school it is, which I think is really, really cool for like people that main a wizard. So for example, right, let's say that I ran this gauntlet once. I'd immediately get 35 fortune coins, and I could use this recipe to make 5 spellments. So I would get 5 spellments, all from Arc 3 that are all balanced, but I won't have as much control over which world in Arc 3 that spellment is from. But I don't know if I got any people that know how statistics work watching this. If you get a lot of fortune coins and spam redeem this, this is probably the #1 easiest way to get school-specific spellments in the game, right? Cantrip chests and farming bosses, they're not going to give you school-specific spellments, you know, like at all. So the school-specific recipes, if you're running these gauntlets and getting all these fortune coins, they're actually super cool for people that main a wizard. But just like with the previous recipes, they also made it so you could craft random Arc 3 and Arc 4 spellments. So keep in mind, these are all relatively new spellments, especially the Arc 3 ones. These are all brand new, right? You can craft 1 random Arc 3 spellment just for 1 fortune coin. So let's say that I were to run this gauntlet once, I'd get 35 fortune coins immediately, right? That means I can make 35 Arc 3 spellments with that. That's a big deal, right? Let's say that you're a member and you claim those first 4, like, you know, credits. You can actually make enough progress to get to the 3rd reward already on the first day. And keep in mind, this is lasting for like literally 5 more days, a little bit like closer to 6. It takes you like literally about 3 to 4 days to actually get to the final reward if you redeem all the credits, if you do the gauntlet. And what I really like about this specific gauntlet, the Perilous Great Clock or whatever they want to call this event, the actual gauntlet is just a few very short fights. It's actually very easy to speed farm compared to previous gauntlets that we've seen in rotation. But the top rewards, you get like 150 fortune coins. That is 150 random Arc 3 spellments that you can craft using the new recipe. I'm pretty sure this recipe is also new. I think we also need to talk about this. So if y'all don't know, right, when they put out the Selenopolis update, they added a reagent that's very similar to the Wallaroo Dream Water that we all know and love. And the idea is basically, right, if you farm a boss in Selenopolis enough to get a badge, you could actually use Moondust to craft the gear from that boss. It's like a pity system. And while I do think Dream Water is the superior reagent because I think you're probably just realistically more likely to have the Wallaroo badges than the Selenopolis ones, because if you already had the Wallaroo badges, there's no reason to grind for the Selenopolis one. There is still gear from Selenopolis that I do think you can only craft with Moondust, including meta wands for PvP and stuff. Right, to explain how the wand crafting situation actually works, let's actually take, you know, like a small detour to Selenopolis. Now, I'm gonna be using the wand wands as an example. One, because the wands are an extremely good template. All these Kanzu wands that y'all see me running, I think this is the best pip conserve, square socket, shad wand template in the game. Really, really good. It's the first wand that we've had that gives pip conserve and shad, so you don't have to raid for. Right, it's a big deal. But in order to be able to craft these, I had to, one, farm the boss and get the badge. Right, this badge, I had to defeat this boss called the Taking Tree 25 times. This is a boss that drops pierce jewels and wands in Selenopolis. But even after I defeated him 25 times, right, to get the 70 moon gold dust to craft some of these wands, it's actually asking for a lot of farming. The only easy way to actually like make the moon dust, so you need to craft anything from Selenopolis, is to actually get every single challenge mode done so you can transmutate parchment into it. A lot of people don't got all that time. This Portal of Peril recipe is the best way to get this reagent. It is therefore the best way to get any sort of Selenopolis gear, including what I would argue is the best wand in the game. I'll say this isn't something that they necessarily added with this update. Dreamwater has always been a recipe that you could basically, you know, craft Dreamwater with fortune coins. I do think right now there is more of a need for Dreamwater than any other time before. And that's simply because of dual schooling, y'all. As we look into more and more reasons to dual school, you'll want, you know, to make multiple sets, right? Like right now I'm running Balanced Death. It's a really good combo in PvP, but so is Balanced Storm. And guess what? All of these jewels, these pierce jewels that I had to create, in order to not have to shatter them over and over again, I had to craft basically a bunch of jewels that involved both pierce jewels that you see, right? In order to create one of those Balanced Storm pierce jewels, I needed a polished piercing citron. I needed a polished piercing amethyst. That is 20 Dreamwater if you have the badge to actually craft pierce jewels by farming Freddy and Wallaroo. Let's say that I have the badge, right? For me to actually get that 20 Dreamwater, it would take way longer than just doing the gauntlet a few times and just crafting it here. Especially considering the later rewards, this is not only the greatest way to get Dreamwater, it's at a time where they're adding all this dual schooling Dreamwater and using it to craft like off-school jewels. It's never been more relevant. This is definitely something that I'm gonna be farming. If I had to nitpick one issue that I really have with this specific gauntlet getting rolled out, if y'all don't know, right, the Great Clock Tower Gauntlet, it is actually a part of a gift card that drops one of the most sought after mounts in the game, the Clockwork Courser. And we've already seen other gauntlets actually add drops with, like, you know, stat giving mounts. The Sinbad Gauntlet, for example, dropped the rock mount. I would have really liked to see them take the opportunity to add, like, you know, have the ability for the Clockwork Courser to drop. I feel like it's really overdue that this drops to begin with. The Clockwork Courser is in a really weird spot where sometimes it's actually in the crown shop for relatively cheap, but let's say that it's not in the crown shop as a singular item. You have to buy the bundle, which is worth, like, I think $30 at least. That is a lot for a mount that means so much in terms of how good your stats are, especially in PvP. I don't know what my setups would do without this mount, so I feel like it would have been really nice to close that unfortunate chapter of having to wait for, you know, this mount to, like, go into the crown shop or having to buy, like, a really crazily priced gift card. It would have been nice to see a close to that chapter and have this drop in the gauntlet that corresponds to it, right? This is literally, they're related to each other. I think it would have been nice, especially because apparently the event progress bar until today was glitched, if y'all didn't know. So if you claimed credits, you didn't make any progress yesterday. You could only do it starting today. It would have been a nice, like, oh, yo, we messed up here, have a rare, you know, chance at getting the Clockwork Courser. I think I would have liked to see that. That being said, I'm very happy to see these new recipes. I think this is one of the most inclusive events because you don't need to buy the gauntlet. You get level scale. There's a team up feature. It's had a history of being bugged, but I feel like this is probably, you know, it's good progress. The recipes are really cool. Totally worth farming in a way that previous Portal of Perils have not been worth farming. It would have been crazy for me to see all these recipes not make a video about this, especially with such an easy to farm gauntlet. So hopefully this video will help for people that don't know what the Portal of Peril is or want to farm this if it is worth farming. Hopefully this video helped. Let me know what y'all think. Hopefully this was a factually accurate video because I've had little, you know, interaction with this. But the big TLDR regardless, farm this gauntlet. You don't have that much time. Do it now. I look forward to reading all of y'all's thoughts on this specific event, including the bugs, the rewards, all of that stuff. Stay awesome, y'all. See y'all soon. And yeah.